Let's listen.
Welcome back to Man on the Street, sponsored by Showtime Detroit. Check them out at their new location on Joseph Campo in Hamtramck. The owner, Dan, has been dressing Detroit rock bands, performers, and entertainers since 1989. If you want to look like a rock star, go to Showtime Detroit. Today on Man on the Street, I am visited by two members of the Cure tribute band, the Recure. I've got the guy who takes on the persona of the bass player Simon Gallup is Mr. Steve Vilnius. And the guy who takes on the persona of the lead singer, guitar player Robert Smith is Mr. Tim Sussman. Guys, thank you for joining me today on Man on the Street. How are you?
Doing really well. Thanks for having us here.
Have eyeliner, will travel.
Steve, I'm going to ask you this first question. Tell me, how long has the Recure been together? And how long has this current lineup, this current roster been together?
This lineup, we've got our original keyboard player, Mark Cada, back in the fold, but we've been together since about this time, 9 years ago, so 2014, yeah. And, yeah, that's it.
I want to ask both of you this question about your musical backgrounds. Tim, let's start with you. How long have you been playing guitar? I know you're a very good guitar player. And how long have you been in bands? I mean, how many bands have you been in over the years up until the point of the Recure? And are you in any other projects right now currently running at the same time as the Recure? And, of course, Steve, that's the same question for you.
Yeah, so I started playing guitar when I was about 11 years old. Always loved rock music. Grew up in the 90s on a lot of 90s bands and early 2000s bands. Started playing in a band we were called Crazy James. That was with my brother and my other good friends. And another band called Someone Say Something. And I did a lot of music for pretty much my entire life. Did some original music, a lot of cover music when I was in college. My part-time job was playing cover music in bars and stuff like that. Those two bands, Someone Say Something and Crazy James, which became Jellyfist, they never really ended because they're with my best friends and my brother. Despite my brother passing away, the rest of us are still good friends that make music in our spare time, basically.
As far as starting, I don't even really remember why. It just seemed fun. Because I was pretty young and it seemed like a great thing to do. They always say it looks like a good job, something to aspire to. There's been little bands along the way. I was in a pop band in the later 90s here called Brilliant, which was fun for a minute. And then nothing substantial, some cover groups along the way. And then Bob Gilbert, the drummer in Recure, and I, we were in a Celtic rock band called the Creelers, which is now called Brother Crow. And in between downtime of that, we got the idea to do a tribute to The Cure if we could find a smashingly awesome vocalist, and we did.
This is a question for Tim. Tim, I've been a huge fan of Robert Smith's guitar playing forever, and anybody who knows The Cure knows that guy is an incredible guitar player. I want to know if you feel any pressure by that because doing the persona of Robert Smith, because, I mean, right from the get-go when they were very young and they were warming up on tour with Susie and the Banshees, Robert Smith, actually the guitar player for Susie and the Banshees, I don't remember what happened, but he was out and they were looking for a new guitar player right on tour. Robert Smith knew all the parts, said he could do it, and he ended up playing 2 shows for the rest of that tour. He is a very seasoned player. If anybody saw the Rock Hall of Fame performance, he was amazing in that. Talk about, do you feel any pressure knowing that Robert Smith is such an incredible player?
Well, I don't know if you're going to like my answer, but despite having enormous respect for Robert Smith, and I do think he's an amazing guitar player, I will say that the pressure is very low on for me, because Eric, our other guitar player, he has studied Robert Smith's style so much that I pretty much just have to get infected by Eric's skill at replicating what Robert does, and it makes it really easy for me. I just kind of do what I think Eric would do, and he also helps me with all of the effects that I use on stage. I use Eric's guitar. It's not even my guitar that I use on stage, and so yeah, the pressure's kind of off when you're working with Eric.